everyone. Hope you had a great week. So much happened during the week, and guess what? The National Spelling Bee competition was on Saturday. You should have been there. The Canadian Minister for International Trade was also in Ghana, and apart from meeting government officials, he found time to be with children at the Canadian International College, who asked him a lot of questions. Ever had a hard time crossing the road even though there's a zebra crossing? This is something that some of you are so unhappy about that you decided to question it. That's Invexed. And how about being homeschooled? What's that like? No waking up early to rush off to school, staying at home and having lessons. And ever heard about dyslexia? We'll tell you all about that in our explanation story. So the Canadian Trade Minister, Ed Fast, came to Ghana during the week. He was accompanied by 29 members of his team to talk business with Ghana. A lot of things were discussed about Canada and Ghana working together. Issues on oil and gas, healthcare, and infrastructural development were all looked at. The Canadian International Trade Minister also made a very special visit to the only Canadian elementary school in the country. Let's have a look. It's a big day for the Canadian Independent College. The Canadian Trade Minister, Ed Fast, is paying a visit to the students here because it is the only Canadian-made curriculum school in Ghana. Gifty is the student representative for CIC. She has been working with the administration of the school, preparing the minister's visit for a month. She is very excited because she has a very special role to play during the minister's visit.
Today, I've been asked to present a token of appreciation to the Minister of Trade.
But she's not the only one eager to meet the Canadian Minister of Trade. 14-year-old Jacob is too.
To meet a man with that in that stage is really good for the school. It's also good for it's good for the students that we get to show ourselves to the world.
CIC is the only school in Ghana which teaches based on the Canadian school system. Almost all of the students here hope to further their education in Canada. The minister's visit is very important to them. It will give them the opportunity to know more about the country where they intend to go to university. Just before 3 p.m. on Friday, the minister arrives with his entourage, ready to mingle with the students. The Minister of Trade has a very special love for education. He tells us why.
I am the father of 4 daughters. Every single one of them is a teacher.
Oh my goodness! For Gifty and her schoolmates, this is a very proud moment for the school. One they will not soon forget.
Like, it seems like the youth are not really that important to them nowadays. So personally, what I'm taking from this is that now I know that people really do care about us, and his presence coming here actually means a lot to us.
Now, the Canadian Trade Minister returned to Canada on Friday. Before he left, he said Canada is committed to helping Ghana with development. Now, the News Generation team spent the whole day on Saturday at the National Spelling Competition. It was great listening to all the children spelling some very interesting words. In the end, there was a winner because, after all, it is a competition. But in our eyes, everyone was a winner.
Noise for the parents, please. Yes.
Ululation, ululation, O-O-L-Y-U-L-A-T-I-O-N, ululation. Sorry. Acacia, A-C-A-C-I-A, acacia.
Yes. So here with the winner of the 2013 Spelling Bee competition, Rohit and his family. Rohit, after a long day, you finally won. So Rohit, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good.
Now, I noticed that you have a method when you are spelling your words. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I write it on my palm or on my card so that even if it's invisible, I can see with my eyes.
Why do you feel you have to write it?
I write it because you may be in a hurry and you may misspell it, so you must write it down.
So now you've won a very big prize. I think there's a trip to New York, a bit of money. What are you doing with the money and everything?
I'll use it for my education purpose.
Now, Daddy, I know you are very proud of Rohit today. Tell us how you are feeling.
I'm feeling good. I'm very good. I'm proud of my child today. He really worked hard. I hope in the future this always go forward, and I'm sure always he's winning. He's a winner.
Oh, this day has been really excellent. We had total 3 participants from DPS International. This is our first year, and being a first year, a lot of people thought we were underdogs, but we proved ourselves by taking the ultimate prize.
The rest of the other spellers, I think there are 99 other spellers.
Now let's move on. Dyslexia is a learning disability which affects many children worldwide. In the following report, we explain what it means to mix up letters while spelling, not recognizing even simple words, and having trouble with rhyming. We tell the story of young Andrew Kisa.
Some years ago, 15-year-old Andrew Kisa found it difficult recognizing written words. He also had problems with mathematics. This led to poor performance at school. His teacher and friends thought he was lazy.
My teacher in class 3 said I was lazy. My spellings weren't good. I couldn't even write my own name. My name, there's a D inside. I always write it as B. So Ambu instead of Andrew. Some of them were like nice to me. And some maybe out of anger, they call me dumb. Some too, one called me dyslexic freak.
Neither Andrew nor his father could figure out why he was having difficulties with his schoolwork.
We noticed that there was something that was wrong. But then how to identify what was wrong was our problem. First, we thought it was spiritual attack and praying. And then we would go to the teachers. And the teachers would only console you and tell you that some of the kids are slow learners.
At the age of 12, Michael was diagnosed with dyslexia.
My daddy was watching the program. Then there was this kid, just like me. Wasn't good at all. He always mixes the B and D. He was always helped by someone, just like me. Then my daddy saw him, and then he said, "This is my son." He got to know about the word dyslexia.
Michael's story highlights the trials of people with dyslexia and the limited awareness about dyslexia in Ghana. Dyslexia occurs when the brain does not properly recognize and process certain words or symbols. This happens when there is a problem in the areas of the brain which help us to understand language. It is not a disease or illness, but a condition a child is born with. Often it has been inherited. Being dyslexic is not just confusing numbers. For instance, mistaking 9 and 6. Dyslexia can also be characterized by trouble with rhyming, separating sounds which make up spoken words, determining the meaning of a simple sentence, and learning to recognize written words. It can also affect writing and the ability to solve math problems. Having dyslexia does not mean a person is not smart, as the condition does not interfere with one's ability to think or to understand difficult ideas. While these reading difficulties may persist for life, steps can be taken to successfully overcome them. A dyslexic person may just need extra learning assistance and individual tutoring. Famous people like Albert Einstein, Muhammad Ali, and Tom Cruise were dyslexic but managed to achieve great things in their respective fields.
That was for some very interesting information about dyslexia. Who knew that the great Albert Einstein, considered the most influential physicist of the 20th century, had dyslexia? He even won the Nobel Prize for Physics. It's now time for What's Up. So, what's up with people thinking mathematics is so difficult? All the formulas and cracking of sums seems to put a lot of people off, leading to low grades and a set mind that dealing with numbers is not for them. So what's up with all of that? Let's find out.
The numbers and the letters. Growing up, we started with numbers alone, and all of a sudden, math has letters, X's and Y's, so it's really confusing. And secondly, sometimes I blame the teachers, because it's not all the time that they teach pretty well. They expect you to understand, and then if you don't, it's like you're put in an awkward position, allowing you not to ask questions.
Because we've got this common misconception that math is so terribly hard and difficult. So kids go into class not really with the mindset that, oh, I'm actually going to do well. They go there thinking, it's too hard, I'm not even going to try.
Maybe it could be that they don't like it. Because if you don't like something, you wouldn't associate yourself with it. So maybe it's either they don't like it, or naturally it's hard for them.
Some of the students, when they are taught math, when they get back home, they don't take back their math books or math homework to give, or they don't practice it daily. That's why they don't perform well in math.
They think the math is very difficult, and when they are giving homework, they cannot do it and bring it back to copy their friend.
The average Ghanaian kid is good at math. It's just that in a way they are not taught like why. They are just taught this, so they tend to hate math.
Now, what about the rest of the week? Coming up are some of the stories which made headlines. The government of Ghana, in partnership with Zoomlion Ghana Limited, plans to set up an industrial salt estate in Keta, Volta region later this year. The estate will produce and supply salt for the petrochemical and industrial sector. Following liberation of Timbuktu and other Mali towns from the Islamic Tuareg rebels, Malian president announced plans to hold elections by July. French-led troops are fighting to retake control of Kidal, the last major northern town under the control of the Islamist militants. A state of emergency with a curfew between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. came into effect in 3 troubled cities in Egypt. The curfew was put in place in Port Said, Ismaila and Suez in order to curb the ongoing riots which killed 50 people last weekend. The violence started following the sentencing of 21 people involved in riots at a football match last year that resulted in 74 deaths. After months of surgeries in the United Kingdom, Pakistani teen activist Malala Yousafzai is to receive 2 more surgeries, including the placing of a titanium steel plate to cover a hole in her skull. In October 2012, Malala was shot in the head and neck while fighting against Islamic extremists for the right of girls to have an education. It's now time for a break, but when we come back, we will be talking to some children who are very unhappy that they cannot cross the road to go to school. We'll be right back.
Sometimes a stained t-shirt can make you the happiest mom. Now Omo Multi-Active removes even tough stains in just 1 step. Best ever stain removal from Omo.
Welcome back to News Generation. Now we are going on to Vexed, and children at the St. Paul's Lutheran School in Kanda in Accra are anxious about crossing the road. With no traffic warden and fast-moving traffic, they either chance it and dash across the road or wait until a kind driver stops. This often makes them late for class. They want the authorities to do something. They are vexed.
Normally, when we are about to cross the zebra crossing, there's no traffic warden there to help us get to school early. This sometimes hinders our chances of coming to school early, and we might stand there for 30 minutes before we can come to school. When drivers see pedestrians on the zebra crossing, they should stop for them, because just at that point in time, the kids crossing the zebra crossing, their lives are in their hands. So they should try and they should endeavor to stop for them to cross before they continue to wherever they are going to.
We the students are worried because we stand there for a lot of minutes waiting for the vehicles to pass before we cross the road.
Sometimes I stand there for minutes, but there's no car who will stop. So I guess I have to wait for a car to stop for me before I cross. I think the drivers do not know what the zebra crossing means.
MTTU report shows that 60% of road accidents are caused by overspeeding. And I've come to realize that drivers don't care about wheel pedestrians. So is it that they are not educated on road safety signs or about the zebra crossing?
The last year, 2,797 pedestrians were knocked down, and in Nima, 114 people were knocked down.
The zebra crossing is there for pedestrians so that portion of the road they can cross. So for you to have a driving license, it means that you know and understand road signs and can interpret it. One of the responsibilities of the National Road Safety Commission is to make sure that all road users are safe. So if a traffic warden coming there would make it safe for the school children to cross, then yes, it is one of our responsibilities. Yes, that zebra crossing was there because we knew people would be crossing on that road, and that road is a very wide road. That's a double lane road. So when a driver gets to that portion of the road, the driver would have to stop if a pedestrian is standing there to cross. So I'm appealing to the drivers who use this circle road from Kanda overpass to Circle, that please, when you get to that portion of the road, the school children will be crossed, especially at a time that they have closed around after 2 o'clock. You need to slow down for them so that they can also cross the road.
Imagine this, 6 o'clock Monday morning, you roll out of bed, brush your teeth and eat your Tom Brown. Instead of putting on your school uniform to go to school, you pick up your books and go to the dining room table where your mother is waiting to give you math lessons. This is becoming a typical morning for millions of children around the world as more and more parents choose to homeschool them.
It is 7 a.m. Monday morning. Not only are schools packed with children who are about to start their first lesson, but houses are also full of kids like the Mans who are preparing for their first class. Homeschools are becoming increasingly popular in Ghana as in other countries. They cover every subject from maths to science, all within the comfort of their homes. The one-to-one tuition allows these schools to cover more information in less hours, leaving time for other activities. Some home classes run from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. daily.
So you multiply and you add. And the same thing goes here. You multiply and add.
With the guidance of their mom, the 3 Mans kids have been homeschooling for 5 years now. Unhappy about how public schools are run, Miss Mans decided to take her kids out of school.
You know, the public school was too stressful because they had to move from one class to the other and they didn't understand what the teacher was teaching. Compared to a conventional school where you have 20 kids per teacher, with homeschooling, I get to have that one-on-one with each kid, and if they don't understand something, I can always go back and redo with them.
Miss Mans is responsible for almost all the educational needs of her children, from tutoring to the provision of teaching and learning materials. But she does not do the teaching alone, as the kids often take their lessons from an American curriculum via DVD.
96 is 7.8. 7, 16.1%, and 24, 60.
So how do the Mans kids find learning at home instead of school?
I like homeschooling a little bit better because you don't have to wake up that early, and you get to do other stuff during the day because you don't have to close very late.
It's fun, it's easy, and it doesn't take so long as when you're going to school.
I miss my friends. I miss my teachers. I miss coming to the school and, just having fun.
Miss Mans admits that homeschooling can be tiring, but believes that it is the best option for her kids. We came across another homeschool at the Kenny house. They have been homeschooling for 13 years now.
Minyankopon. Let's all read together. Minyankopon. Semede madwini bua. Semede madwini bu.
Antoinette Kenny explains why she prefers to homeschool her kids.
In the U.S., the way the school system was structured, it didn't really help us to bring about what we wanted to see in our children. Having a fear for God, a love for God, and a heart for people.
But there are some setbacks.
The setbacks that we face are interruptions. We don't have a structured, say, classroom where there's a bell ringing and kids are moving or a teacher is coming in.
What do the Kenny kids think about homeschooling?
I find it very fun and then lonely at times because I don't have friends that are sitting right next to me that I can say, hey, can I borrow a pen or a pencil from you, or can you help me with this math question or something like that? Yeah. And the fun part about it is that sometimes I'm at home and then I can get an early break or go to the fridge and get something to eat and come back and do my work.
I find it exciting and it gives me a privilege that I learn more than others learn. It's very fun being at home because we go and visit places a lot and we learn about more things than one thing.
Ultimately, Miss Kenny says through homeschooling she has been able to instill values in her children which would not have been possible if they were attending public school. The kids are also able to have extensive lessons in their areas of interest like music.
Wow, now I read somewhere Adwoa Safo, MP for Dome Kwabenya constituency, was also homeschooled until university. Imagine that. And Beyonce has also spoken about the joys of being homeschooled, just like the Kenny children in our story, who also get the opportunity to focus on their music. It's now time for another break, but when we come back, we have Sports Round. Stick around.
Sometimes a stained t-shirt can make you the happiest man. Now Omo Multi-Active removes even tough stains in just one step. Best ever stain removal from Omo.
And we are back. In Sports Round, we have something about tennis and football. Let's catch up with the world of sports.
The defending champions' tears of joy a year ago turned to tears of sorrow as Zambia became the first defending champion to be knocked out in the first round of the African Cup of Nations in 21 years. Herve Renard's side was held to a goalless draw by group winners Burkina Faso in South Africa last Tuesday. Mario Balotelli says he will miss little about life in Manchester after taking a swipe at English culture following his £90 million move to AC Milan. The Italy striker was paraded by his new club on Friday and did not shy away when asked what he liked and disliked most about England. Balotelli, 22, has agreed a 4.5-year deal with Italian giants AC Milan after scoring 30 goals in 80 appearances for Manchester City. Serena Williams made a shock exit at the Australian Open as injury stopped her hopes against Sloane Stephens in the quarterfinals. The 15-time Grand Slam champion led her fellow American by a set and a break but after being treated for a back spasm in the second set, went down 3-6, 7-5, 6-4. Williams was heard on court saying it had been the worst 2 weeks as she struggled with an ankle and back issues.
And that was Sports Round. Now, you may have noticed that in the program today, there has been a lot of focus on education. In keeping with that theme, Adelaide's Landmark of the Week is on the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. Its building is in Paris, France.
The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO building, is located on the Place de Fontenoy in Paris. It was inaugurated in 1958. The main building is 7 floors high, resting on tilts, and was constructed in the form of a Y, which houses the secretariat of the organization and the permanent delegates and non-governmental organizations. It is the most international building in Paris, both in terms of membership of the organization it houses and in terms of its construction. The unique building was designed by 3 architects: Marcel Breuer of the United States of America, Pierre Luigi Nevi of Italy, and Bernard Zevius of France. UNESCO has 195 member states, including Ghana. Its aim is to contribute to the building of peace, the eradication of poverty, suitable development, and intercultural dialogues through education, sciences, culture, communication, and information.
That's it for today. Remember, you can interact with us through email, Facebook, and Twitter. Tell us what you want to see on the program and send us your views. But before we go, here's the quote of the week. You can also send us yours and we will feature it. Don't forget to add your picture. See you next week.